In 2024, I fainted after running a 3K. Fast forward to last year, 2025, I completed a 10K race in Volkswagen Auto Europa factory in Portugal. What got me from fainting at running a 3K and getting to the point of completing a 10K race was not motivation. It was something more quiet, something that shows up when I don't feel like even going outside. Yeah, let's talk about discipline. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I talk about life abroad, career, tech, faith, discipline, purpose, and all of that good stuff. Real, honest conversations, right? So, motivation, let's talk about it. It's that electric feeling you get when you just listen to an inspirational talk, you just watched a motivational video and you're pumped, maybe, or it's the start of the new year and you're filled with all kind of resolutions and you're ready to go all in. And then, yes, you start. And then life happens. And it feels like even the thing you are so excited about is something you begin to avoid. That's motivation. It's an emotion. If you've ever been there, which I think most of us have, right? Then this video is for you. We're going to talk about motivation, why it seems to appear and then disappear. And then we'll talk about what you can do in place of it, which would carry you even further than motivation can carry you. So here's the thing you need to understand about motivation. It's based on emotion, right? Sometimes it's the excitement, sometimes it's the anticipation of something that brings up that motivation, right? And just like every emotion, it comes and it goes, right? Just like how there is joy, there is anger. These are emotions that appear and then they fade. Right? That is the same way motivation is. It comes and it goes. So psychology tells us that motivation is tied to the brain's dopamine system. When you set an exciting new goal, dopamine fires. You feel unstoppable. But then dopamine is not a permanent fuel source. So if you're building your entire strategy on feeling motivated, then you're building on the sand. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, says that you do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. Your goal doesn't save you when motivation is gone. Your system saves you, and it's discipline that helps you build that system. Now, when people hear the word discipline, they think of this kind of life of punishment where they have to wake up by 4 a.m. and then they cannot enjoy life at all. No. Discipline is just about you doing what you need to do even when you don't feel like it. You know that this thing is something that you actually need to do. And sometimes your body doesn't feel like doing that thing, but you know it's necessary. Discipline requires that you do it. It's not a personality type you're born with, it's a skill that you acquire through repetition. So, research has shown that the so-called disciplined people are not those who are fighting their feelings more. It's just that they have been able to develop a life that is more consistent, a life that requires less willpower to stay consistent. They remove friction, they build non-negotiable routines. They make the right choice the easy choice. Whatever is the right thing to do, they make it such that it's non-negotiable. So discipline is not about being harder on yourself. It's about being smarter about yourself. So there is a big difference between saying, I want to be someone who exercises consistently, and saying, I am someone who shows up, who runs, even on bad days. So the difference is that one is the desire. The other one is an identity. James Clear calls this identity-based habits. The idea is that every action you take is casting a vote for the person you want to become. You don't feel like running, but you go out to run anyway. That's a vote. You just completed 5K, and the next time you want to run, you add another 500 meters and you run 5.5K. That's a vote. You don't feel like studying, but you pick up your books and start studying anyway. That's a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Over time, these votes accumulate, and then showing up is no longer a battle. coming out to do the things that were difficult for you before begins to look easy. And then you begin to become that person, right? It's now who you are, and not just who you wanted to be, but who you are. So that shift from I want to be somebody who is fit or who exercises consistently to I am someone who runs, or I am someone who gets up and studies every morning. Yeah, it's something that would take discipline. So let me give you the full story about this running 3K and fainting and then completing a 10K race. So back then when I was in Nigeria before I moved to Portugal, I used to work remotely, and my kind of work involved mostly sitting down all through the day working on my laptop, and I felt the need to exercise more regularly. So I decided that okay, every weekend, Saturdays mostly, I would go for a run, and then I was mostly running 3K. That's 3 kilometer runs every Saturday. So it happened that after I got married on one of these Saturdays, I went out for a run with my brother-in-law, and I think I overstressed myself that day. And then when I got back home, I fainted, like literally collapsed on the ground. And my wife, because we just got married a few months prior to that time, and she was like, "Oh no, you will not kill me. Please, no more running." And I felt I still needed to run, right? For the sake of staying fit and being healthy and stuff. So we reached a compromise. So we agreed, okay, I'll be running 2K, not 3K. And at any point where I felt stressed or tired, I would just stop until I eventually came to Portugal with my family. And then I stopped running. Well, I got into a new system, a new environment. So most of my focus was about adjusting and, getting documentation and all of that stuff. So I didn't really put my mind into running. But it happened that I got to know about this Volkswagen Run that was going to take place in October last year. And thankfully, my company uh, gave out free tickets to some people to participate for those who were interested. And yeah, I was one of those who won the free ticket to participate. And then I said, yeah, we'll do it. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll try to train more, practice more, and maybe run a 3K or 5K. I did not know that there was no opportunity for running a 3K or running a 5K. The only thing for 5K was to walk. The option for running was a 10K. And that felt like a tough one. So I decided to start practicing, and I ran the first 3K that period. I did not faint, thankfully. And then the next time I ran, I went beyond what I ran the previous time. So I started practicing every week, adding 500 meters to the goal of the previous week. So if I ran 4K this week, next week I'll be looking to run 4.5K, the next one 5K, 5.5, and so on like that. Not because I was enjoying it, many times it was difficult, but because I was trying to build a system in preparation for the 10K I was to run in October. And yeah, this continued for a while, and then by the time I got to running 7K during my practice, after some weeks, I began to feel knee pain. It wasn't easy. In fact, one of the days I finished running, and then for about an hour I couldn't walk. But I just had that motivation to run that 10K in the Volkswagen Run. And yeah, I kept practicing. Sometimes with the knee pain, sometimes I was able to run without any issues. And eventually, we got to October, and I eventually ran the 10K in the Volkswagen Run. So that big goal, the 10K race that I was preparing for in October, was a big motivation for me, right? And also because I wanted to make a LinkedIn post if I successfully ran the 10K. I'll add the link to the post in the description of this video in case you want to check it out. I eventually achieved the goal, but today I still go out to run. Not because I'm fired up or because I have a race coming up, no. But because I've built that system around being that kind of person who runs, because I know it's necessary for exercising and staying healthy and all of that. So now let's talk about 5 practical ways you can build discipline. Number 1, start small. Like, start embarrassingly small. If you want to run a 10K and you already only know how to run a 2K or 3K, start from there and gradually increase it. And before you know it, you are improving and getting to run even beyond what you could do before. Maybe you want to study for 2 hours and you are not used to it. You can start from studying for 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, and so on. And before you know it, you're building a system. Just start. You cannot be waiting until you feel ready, because many times you will not still feel ready. Number 2, build a system, not just a goal. A goal says, I want to run 10K. A system says, I run every week. The first one is a destination. The second one is a direction, and it's direction that will get you to the destination. Number 3, reduce friction. What do I mean by reducing friction? When you want to do something, those things that will make it difficult for you to start, reduce them and make that showing up the easiest option for you. Like, you want to go out to run, bring out your shoes, put them by the door. If you want to study, bring out your books, open them, so that it's easier for you to start. Because when you have so many things that make it difficult for you to start, you would likely not start eventually. The harder a habit is to start, the easier it is to skip it. Number 4, don't break the chain. Like in many of these things we do, you talk about streaks. Yes, you ran this week, make a note of it. You ran the next week, make a note of it. Before you know it, you're building a streak of running consistently various weeks. And eventually, protecting that streak becomes like a motivation for you. It's okay if you miss once, but don't miss twice, right? To be honest though, with the weekly running I talked about, as at the time of recording this video, I ran the previous day, that was yesterday. And it was like the first time I was running again after like 3 weeks, because for the previous 3 weeks, I was busy with some church activities and some other things that took my Saturdays. And then I went to run yesterday and it felt so difficult. And that's the same way if you stop doing something you have been doing consistently. To resume it again could be really difficult. So you don't want to break your streak. You want to keep it going and let that be a motivation for you not to stop. Number 5, anchor to a deeper why. It's not just about I want to get fit, but who do I want to become? What would happen if I stop? What are the possibilities I'll unlock if I keep going? Let that be like a reason for you not to stop, a reason for you to be disciplined and continue with the system you have built. This deeper anchor is something that will keep you going when the initial excitement is already gone. So in conclusion, here's what I want you to take from this. Motivation is a visitor. It usually shows up at the start, but then it disappears when things get difficult. You cannot build your life, your career, or any goal you want to achieve on a visitor. You need something that stays, and that is discipline. Discipline is resident. It stays. It shows up even in the rain, even when things are difficult, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline stays. So you should focus more on discipline, building a routine, building a system that works, rather than just that excitement that comes and goes. Build a system. Build discipline. Okay, I want to hear from you now. You can drop a comment. Is there something in your life that you were feeling motivated for before and then now you are not feeling motivated but you're still showing up anyway? Or maybe you stopped but you're trying to get back on track again. Either way, let's talk about it in the comments. If this video made sense to you in any way or added something to your day, a like would help the channel grow. And if you're new here and this resonates with you, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. And remember, keep on going, even in days when you don't feel like it. See you around. Ciao, ciao.